It's Star Wars leaking season, and not only do we have some new leaks that contextualize certain things we've been hearing about for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, but we've got to talk about how more and more people are coming forward to say that the Jedi Praxis leaks are probably real.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to Sparkle Narwhal. Indeed, the Howling Commandos are the group of soldiers that hang around with Captain America in World War II. Make sure you stay to the end of this video where we will ask another nerd card question. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday to you. I'm Josh. Welcome back to the den. And indeed, I am wearing a dope Greedo shirt. Check it out, dudes. Shout out to Harley Cabrera for letting me know about the sale that was going on with these shirts because, yeah, it's pretty clean. All right, so we're gonna get into all the crazy Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker leaks and what is going on with these different groups of leaks. But dang, man, Star Wars has been having a pretty good go of it lately. We've been having some really cool images for The Mandalorian shown on EW. That's really interesting. Apparently that show might even tie into the creation of the First Order, which is really interesting. And then just yesterday, Nintendo announced that Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy are both being ported to the Nintendo Switch. And what's really crazy is Jedi Outcast is coming later this month. So that's really crazy and really cool. So in general, man, the Star Wars buzz is ramping up and I am pretty dang excited about it. Okay, so let's start with the fact that a lot of people are seeming to come out and sort of confirm that the Jedi Praxis leaks are real, or at least have a lot of real stuff in them. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the Jedi Praxis leaks were Star Wars Episode 9 plot leaks that came out on Reddit over this past weekend. When they initially came out, they pretty much rocked the fan base because there were things in these leaks that seemed to contradict what was in other leaks. And a lot of people thought these leaks, the Jedi Praxis leaks that is, were made of bullcrap, that they were absolutely not real at all. But then more and more people that are in that group, like, you know, people like Jason Warren, the Bespin Bulletin, Fantha Tracks, all of these different sources that are out there within the Star Wars community, leaking stuff, you know, scooping stuff, whatever you want to call it. A lot of these people are confirming that a lot of the things that were in the Jedi Praxis leaks are things that they had been hearing as well. So with that in mind, we should kind of say maybe a slight spoiler warning here. If you don't want to know anything that's going on in the movie, maybe avoid this video. And it's really like a tricky situation for me. I'm trying to figure out how to cover this stuff without giving away blatant spoilers. And some of the videos we even did about the Jedi Praxis leaks probably broke that rule, because at the time I thought they were pretty outlandish and not real. Now that I know they kind of are real, I'm like looking back at our videos and like, damn, maybe we shouldn't have made the title and the thumbnail that. But just to clear things up, like, we totally cover leaks here. We love covering leaks. We love covering fan theories, different things that come out about these kind of pop culture things. It's just what we do here. It's what we did for Endgame. It's what we're gonna do for Star Wars Episode 9. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Now, I want to go over specifically something that the Bespin Bulletin went over with regards to the Jedi Praxis leaks, and this actually came out a couple of days ago, but I'm just now learning about it, and it has some pretty crazy implications. So check this out. This is something that was on their Instagram, and they had basically claimed that some of the stuff that was in the Praxis leaks lines up with some stuff that they had heard from sources. They hadn't put this out yet, but now that the Praxis leak is out there and making Star Wars is kind of laying some credence to that leak, they feel comfortable enough sharing some things that they've heard. So this is coming from Bespin Bulletin and some leaks that they have. So let's go over all these on this page right here. It says, Rey and Kylo Ren fight through the Force with one in a ship and the other in a planet. The sets were built next to each other and they used the Mando tech, which is like big LED screens. Then it says, Rey fights Emperor Palpatine whilst Kylo Ren fights off the Knights of Ren, seemingly concurrently. Palpatine uses a lightsaber in the fight. Next it says, Darth Rey is a vision. Daisy Ridley shot in that outfit for only a day, making the sequence very short, but Ian McDiarmid was also on set for that scene. Rey and Kylo Ren share Anakin's lightsaber during a fight where they've learned how to use their Force bond at a new level. Next it says Kylo and Rey confront Palpatine. Ian was on set. Palpatine was next to a bunch of mechanical stuff, including what looked like some kind of big mechanical arm. He might have actually been attached to this mechanical stuff. Rey and Ren are seemingly civil with one another. Rey and Kylo Ren at ease with each other in a cave with a red pyramid-shaped device only a tad larger than hand size. No audio or effects at the time on the device. Now I want to kind of dive into some of these leaks and sort of speculate about what I think they could mean. This is really cool stuff, and I want to focus first on the relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey. Now I don't think these scenes are necessarily in order here, but let's start with the scene with them being civil in the cave with the red triangular device. I mean, any Star Wars fan worth their weight in salt would say this is likely a Sith holocron. The fact that they are in a cave together and they are cool with each other at this moment is really interesting. Now, we don't know if this is a force vision thing, because it's starting to seem like the force bond between them is so strangely powerful that they can actually manifest in front of each other and actually physically fight, which is really cool. So perhaps the scene in this cave is actually just them coming together, manifesting together in this area, doing something with this holocron. Now, the fact that there is a holocron here, and some of the stuff we've been hearing about this Sith dagger and this sort of Sith conspiracy when it comes to Rey and how she was maybe created, or some kind of mystery around her birth is connected to the Sith, perhaps this holocron scene could be them unlocking some information that explains a little bit more about what is going on with Rey. That would plainly be awesome, and we do know that the memories and lessons of Sith can be preserved within Sith holocrons. So what if we even get an image of a younger Palpatine explaining this sort of plan, or even an older Palpatine that survived explaining his granddaughter and that whole thing? That would be really cool. Now, another place that my mind went was the possibility of this holocron being connected to Revan. And if you didn't know this, there's actually a lot of Star Wars fans that bring up the many parallels between Revan and Bastila Shan and Kylo Ren and Rey. And not just the fact that there seems to be a romantic connection to them, but the fact that they both seem to struggle between light and dark. Kylo Ren even looks like Revan, and to be honest with you, Rey looks a lot like Bastila Shan. So there's a lot of similarities here. And I've always thought this could be a really interesting way for Lucasfilm to go, sort of bringing in Revan via the new films, so that maybe when they go back in the Old Republic trilogies, we get a little bit more of that explored there, and it just feels like some connective tissue. That would be really cool. I also think it's possible that Rey gets her hands on this thing, but she can't open it because you need to be able to use the dark side to open up a Sith holocron. Perhaps she needs Kylo Ren's help to open up this holocron. That would be really interesting. And if it's true that Rey descends from Palpatine or is somehow connected to this great evil legacy and evil conspiracy, that'll be a lot for her character to process. Could this be a scene in which Kylo Ren is helping her process this kind of information? Could this be another sort of more intimate moment between these two characters? Now, the next thing I want to focus on from these leaks is this mentioning of the fact that Kylo Ren and Rey will both use Anakin's lightsaber in a fight in which they realize how to use their connection at a new level. And this is something that sort of reminds me of comments that J.J. Abrams made in one of the first EW articles, where he said their connection is deeper than we could have ever imagined, or it's stronger than we could have ever imagined, however he worded it there. But it looks like whatever that is, it's going to be taken to the next level. Now, I am very excited about this for a couple of different reasons here, okay? So I like the tension and the connection between Kylo Ren and Rey. And although I do think there is some romantic feelings going on there, I actually think those romantic feelings will not be focused on. They're not what JJ's talking about when he says it's stronger than we could have ever imagined. And I think that the romantic connection might even be sort of downplayed at this point by Lucasfilm and Disney. Like, it'll still be there, but it's not going to manifest into anything. At least that's my opinion. However, I have always thought that the connection between Kylo Ren and Rey is very powerful, very important, and I believe cosmically driven. And to sort of paraphrase all these other theories and speculative thoughts that I've had about this connection, it basically comes down to the idea that darkness and light will be brought together, and the balance of the Force, like what they represent, the balance of the Force working together, will vanquish what is unnatural evil. It's like this idea that we've been introduced to a lot in the sequel trilogy, that powerful darkness and powerful light just coexist, and that that's natural and it's balanced. Luke says this, Snoke says this, a lot of people say this. But what Palpatine represents is this sort of Lich King, sort of evil necromancer type evil that is so out of balance towards darkness that it's actually being rejected by the Force itself. The cosmic Force itself is looking to vanquish that that evil, which is Palpatine, and it has pushed Kylo Ren and Rey together, and their powers combined, the fact that they're light and dark, working together, will allow them to ultimately vanquish Palpatine. And I think that will be very satisfying to see and also give a lot of context for the things we have seen between these two characters in the last two films. All right, now let's get into Palpatine, man. Crazy stuff in these Bespin Bulletin leaks. I love this idea that he is not only in the scenes with Darkseid Rey, but he is very much in the scenes at the end of the film, that is Ian McDiarmid, for the Palpatine scenes. And the fact that Palpatine could be connected to this weird machinery, this like mechanical arm, which I've tried to depict on the thumbnail a little bit here, but it just makes total sense. It's such cool, creepy imagery, and I love it. Because one of the things I love about the dark side and Palpatine and like the Sith in general is that they sort of pervert the Force, and the technology that they use with the Force, including the Death Star, which is using kyber crystals, which is like the Force, right, in a way, and they use it in an evil way, and the grotesque, unnatural way that that happens just feels very Sith to me, feels totally Emperor Palpatine, and I do think it would be cool if he's somehow connected to some kind of device. This could also explain how he's still alive at 113 years old, and you know, despite dying seemingly in the Battle of Endor, if parts of his body were put back together, or if he transferred his essence into a clone that then erodes in quality, much like in the Dark Empire comics, it is possible that whatever this machinery is, it serves to keep him alive, to keep that old body alive, or to keep the body of the deteriorating clone alive. It also very much reminds me of what happened with Darth Maul. When Darth Maul comes back to life, or is sort of brought back into the canon after having, you know, been cut in half, he is connected to this weird spider-like creature, and it's really creepy and the exact type of imagery that I think we might be seeing here with Palpatine and this mechanical device. Now, Bespin Bulletin does say that there will be a fight where Rey is fighting Palpatine and Kylo Ren is fighting the Knights of Ren, and this will seemingly be happening at the same time. And in this fight, Palpatine will be using a lightsaber. And as we've talked about before, actually we've talked about this earlier in the week on the show, there's a lot of conflicting reports about what's going on with Matt Smith Palpatine, Old Man Palpatine, how this is actually going to play out. Is Palpatine, the old decrepit Palpatine, going to somehow wield a lightsaber, or is this Matt Smith Palpatine? What exactly is going on here? Well, it's possible that Palpatine is old and decrepit in this scene, and maybe as he's trying to turn Rey, Rey rejects him, stabs him, and kills him, and then we get a younger body, which would be Matt Smith Palpatine, coming out of some kind of pod or something, and he has transferred his essence into that Palpatine. This is very reminiscent of Dark Empire, and I would absolutely love it. Another possibility would be the fact that Old Man Palpatine is fighting, and then after he is defeated, one of the Knights of Ren offers up their body, which this could be the Matt Smith character. He offers up his body for the essence of Palpatine to come into, and then Palpatine comes into that body. It's now Palpatine that is a Knight of Ren, and that could kind of explain some of the things we've been hearing, and then have a final showdown between Matt Smith Palpatine, Kylo Ren, and Rey. Either way, there's a lot to speculate about here, a lot to unpack and try to decide how we feel about it. I'm very curious how all of you are feeling about this. I know there's a lot of still like contention and people that are just so distraught from The Last Jedi that they don't even want to give this series a chance. I would just say to you that a lot of this stuff is sounding really freaking cool to me, and I'm getting pretty excited about it, and I think it's worth giving a chance to. The way that it happens in the film will likely be way different than the way it's just read flatly as a leak, and hopefully it's a mixture of some of the things we know and a lot of things that we don't know. But having said all that, I want to know, where are you at with these leaks? Where are you at with the Rise of Skywalker and Star Wars in general? Where are we at right now, guys? Let me know in the comment section below. Oh, and one more thing, I just sort of want to reiterate this point. I think it's amazing tying Rey to the Sith and tying Rey to a Sith conspiracy and to Palpatine. It's excellent, and the more Sith stuff we get in general in this movie, I'm just going to be totally on board with, particularly if we truly do get Old Republic next, which will focus on more of the traditional Sith, the rise of the Sith, how they started, which they might change from some of the Legends ways, but either way, like, I just love the Sith, I love the focusing on the Sith, and I love Rey being attached to the Sith, so let me know what you think about all that as well. Now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the name of the main character that you play as in Jedi Outcast? This is an amazing, awesome Jedi from the expanded universe. Can't wait to go through the story again with this character, but the question remains, what's the name of the main character for the Jedi Outcast video game coming to Switch September 24th? Answer that question in the comments section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.